The US copper market is whipsawing as two headline decisions collide: Washington's 50% Section 232 tariff on semi-finished copper and intensive copper derivative imports that took effect August 1st, and a federal appeals court yesterday froze the Oak Flat Land Exchange, stalling Resolution Copper, the Arizona megamine pitched as a once-in-a-generation supply boost. Together, they're redrawing North American supply chains, jolting prices and complicating the grid build-out. By presidential proclamation on July 30th, the US imposed a 50% ad valorem duty on the copper content of semi-finished forms, wire, rod, bar, sheet, tube, and certain copper-intensive downstream goods from all countries effective August 1st. CBP filing rules require importers to split out the copper value line by line. If you can't prove the copper share, the 50% duty can apply to the full value. On August 18th and 19th, the Ninth Circuit issued an emergency injunction stopping the Oak Flat land transfer while litigation proceeds. Another setback for Rio Tinto BHP's Resolution Copper project near Superior, Arizona. Why this matters? The US was around 45% net import reliant on copper in 2024, consuming around 1.8 Moutowns refined with around 0.81 Moutowns imported. Arizona produced around 70% of domestic mine output. A tariff this broad hits a market already leaning on imports of refined metal and semi-finished feedstock. Resolution Copper and boosters often claim the mine could cover around 20 to 25% of US demand at full run rate, roughly £1 billion a year over a multi-decade life, though that quarter of demand figure is a company projection, not a binding allocation to US buyers. With the injunction, that prospective domestic cushion remains hypothetical. North American reroutes as Canadian stakeholders warn the 50% duty will bite cross-border flows of rod, tube and other semi-finished forms. Smelter rod mill linkages from Quebec's Horn smelter to US brass rod mills now face higher landed costs or forced domestic substitution. The question is, what changes in the near term? The answer? Fabricators' bill of materials expect repapered contracts that itemize copper content to manage the 50% duty line. Misclassified entries risk CBP assessing 50% on the entire good. Lucy Cheshire Smith for Skillings.net.